Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a long time and no see, as they so to speak. It has been quite an adventure the last few months. A lot of interesting things as far as my career, a lot of interesting things as far as my life and all that stuff goes. I've been doing the best I can to kind of keep up with things, and I was given a rare opportunity to go ahead and do an actual stream this weekend. So I'm like, hey, let's take advantage of the time before I lose it again, so to speak. We're going to be taking a look at the recent releases of the Black Square. They've released a series of Barons as well as Bonanzas. It's a Bonanza of Barons, if you prefer. And what I thought we would do is kind of take a look at each plane in kind and kind of see like what it's about. Again, this isn't an advertisement for Black Square or anything. This is me saying, hey, these are cool planes. Let's see if they could do kind of a thing like that. And kind of going from there. As always, for those of you who are curious around, we're over at Telluride today. This is a Kilo Tango Echo X-Ray for anybody who wants to do it. I do have all players enabled in case anybody wants to come fly down here and join us. Again, no big deal one way or the other. Like I said, does not bother me. All right, let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we? So the neat thing about this plane, and one of the things I like about all things Black Square, is there's a lot of little details that I really, really appreciate. Especially, you look at the front of the plane, it's been very thoroughly speckled by nastiness, which is incredibly accurate for real-world planes. You can just sit here and kind of crank the propeller. You can pop out the little static covers and everything. But they go further than that. They also have things like if I come down here, for example, and click, I can put wheel chocks on or off, which I think is neat. And of course, there's this little box here that says 28 volt only. I can actually click there and pop in an external start cart, basically an extra power unit there for anybody who's kind of curious. I just think it's kind of neat. I like how this is a DC version. There are like little gas generator versions, and like if you come over here and click there, you can actually plug a preheater into it. And I don't know, I just kind of get a kick out of stuff like that to take the time to put all those little details in there. Little things. I don't know what's going on here. Little details of airplanes that you just don't realize. So let's go ahead and clean the plane up. And like I said, we'll go a little bit quicker with the other models, but for this one, we'll kind of take our time, kind of see what everything's all about, kind of get through with it. Can't really click on this. Again, like we're good friends over at ATOA. I have the ability to click on that, look at the fuel inside. We can't give this too much of a wiggle. We can't give that too much of a wiggle. Take a look around the back. This would be all speckled with bugs. Yeah, that's pretty good par for the course right there. That'd be pretty dirty too. Again, it depends on where you're flying, depends on what time of year, but that's usually pretty nasty. Whoop! I'll just teleport. Why not? Kind of a thing. One of the things I'm impressed with the A36, and again, for those of you not familiar with the Bonanza in general or the Barons in general, is the fact that they're fairly big planes. One of these was parked near us at the airport that I usually fly out of, and when you stand next to it, you can see how I have to kind of climb up to get to it, and that's just one of those things that I think is kind of a neat little detail. We'll go ahead and pop that open. Another really, really nice detail compared to the planes I fly. It has its own back door on it. And now if I crank that sucker open real quick, you could actually just climb into this thing and sit down. Now they call this club seating, by the way. And I think it's interesting because for those of you who've not tried to sit like this before, you end up basically kicking the person across from you the entire flight, which, part of the fun kind of a thing. All right, let's go ahead and climb inside here. All right. Again, we've got a lovely, lovely, lovely plane here. I'm going to get the Baron and the Bonanza confused about 30 times, so don't worry about that too much. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the control lock off. Like I said, they did a really, really nice job kind of getting a lot of the details here. I think one thing that's kind of interesting for those of you who know Black Square products, they went ahead and brought back this unit here, which I think is kind of nice. So you've got kind of your tablets. You can pick different options. You can hide the radar pod if it bothers you. You can even put tip tanks on, which I think is really wild, because if I hit the switch real quick, boop, like that, you'll notice that we actually get the big old tip tanks on this plane. They actually made Barons and Bonanzas with tip tanks, which I think is pretty wild. And if you do put the tip tanks on, the bad news is you can't transfer any fuel out of them. So if you come over here and look right here, just remember this with your brain for a minute here, that there should be a little switch here to basically transfer the fuel out. So if you want to do that, you can do that. But again, there's no effect on this particular version of this plane. Payload, I've got plenty of fuel. I put an extra gallon in there. Like I said, I don't know why we have less than that much. Good for me. External power, external heat. All of our covers are clear. I don't think we need oxygen or anything. Engine, totally clear. I've kept good clear of this thing. Electrical systems, like how they give you the diagram. Cabin, I get a kick out of this. You can see it's 43 degrees outside. We are in Colorado. This is the fall. And you can see literally just pure cold air coming into this thing. So one of the reasons I'm taking the time to basically preheat everything is to try to make that a little bit better. Well, the fact you have this little kind of heater handle here, and you can actually see on the diagram exactly what the heater handle is doing. All right, now, if I pull this out, you can see the target's 43 Fahrenheit. Of course, because our engine is not running. About crack that about halfway. Undefrost, and again, you can see the little vents opening and closing. I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool. And again, you got the little wing vents. For those of you who are curious, again, this is the non-pressurized version, so not as important. And again, if we need to turn air on, go boop, just like that, so we could breathe if we had to. But like I said, Not so worried. What I'm more worried about, of course, is getting this darn thing started. The nice thing is we are on external power. We got a nice little gyro warning. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, no consequence to us, so to speak. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start from the external power cart. Make it really, 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 really easy. Like I say, they make this thing incredibly simple. We have a battery, and the cool thing with the battery is if you ever have any doubt how it works, we're going to leave the avionics. Basically, the power switch, external power is coming into here, and you can see that's where kind of that 28 volt comes in. You can see there's our gear motor, flat motor, everything all there is kind of hit. If I were to pop the battery off, you can see it basically disengages it from the line. You can tell by the color that this is now powered, this is off, but the fact is this entire section is powered, which is kind of one of those neat things with this one, is the way that it basically shuts the battery off if it doesn't need it. So if you hit that, you get no consequence to it. All right, so we got to prime this engine. This is definitely one of those that you got to prime, and it's old school priming, but like I said, it's nothing bad like that. All right, so to prime it, super easy. Turn on our bacon light real fast. We'll push the mixture handle all the way forward. We'll go ahead and throw the throttle all the way forward, and watch this. We're going to go ahead and engage the fuel pump here. Now, when I run this, you're going to notice all these little dots represent vapor, and you'll see that little blue line starting to kind of get bigger and bigger. You'll also see that we're starting to flood the cylinders now. Now we have a good amount of fuel in each cylinder. So I'm going to crack the throttle. Here's just a fun trick. If you back the mixture up a little bit, you should be able to start it without too much drama here. So let's go ahead and clear all the things connected to us here. We definitely don't want the external heater to be connected to us when we do this. That'd be pretty embarrassing. And of course, let me look around front to make sure the cowl plugs are out. Cowl plugs are out. This engine's not going to like us. Oh, that wasn't bad. Not bad at all. You can see how cold the oil was. Did you see how hard the entire cabin jerked? Love it. Nice. All right, that's good enough for me. So what we'll do now is we'll ask them to go ahead and disconnect the external power. And we'll go ahead and close that off and get everything all kind of booted up. Love the sound effect. That is completely accurate. Completely accurate. All right, that's all set here. We're kind of just chugging along. It's going to take a little while for everything to kind of stabilize. Like I said, it's pretty cold outside, so we're kind of going to give it a minute to kind of get warmed up. That's cool, though, because like I said, for this particular flight, we're going to be keeping it pretty short. Like I said, I want to show you each one of the variants so you kind of know what's going on. You can see this engine, it's gray. It's very, very cold. It's just starting to warm up. We got the cowl flap actually closed right now. And again, that's usually not something you would do, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not going to cause any issues. That's working, and of course, you can see our target temperature is 72 degrees, and we're just running heat off the heat basically and try to warm us up. It's going to take time. We do have an AC on this thing, but it's not that time of year, so it's too bad, kind of a thing like that. Now, we're talking about avionics. You'll notice that we don't have a lot of avionics on this one. For those of you curious, you can actually change the avionics. And what I've done is the other aircraft have different avionics packages, so I can kind of show those off when we get to it. But like I said, this one, I'll take a little bit more time kind of going through the details on it so you kind of get a feel of sort of what you're getting here. All right, last set of idiot checks. Looks pretty good here. I love the fact if you click right here, watch what happens. Gets a little quiet. All right, fantastic. All right, that's going to be a problem for us, but we should be able to kick the nose over and get this thing rotating. Oh boy, next time we get the toe. Next time we get the toe. That was dangerous. Now, one of the things I find interesting about a Bonanza is that its actual wingspan is not that much larger than most of the typical aircraft that I typically cruise around in as far as general aviation is concerned. And that's just one of those kind of details, which I think is kind of neat. All right, so let's go sneak down to the end of the runway. We're just going to do a quick little pattern in this thing just to get a feel for it. Now, you're sitting here going, okay, so you chose Telluride, you're in Colorado, why'd you pick that one? And now the reason I picked that one is this is the non-turbocharged version of this plane. And what I wanted to do is show you the staggering difference in performance between the two. And we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, I got my flaps in the approach position. Generally, you don't need flaps for takeoff on a Bonanza. It's just not required. But for us, like I said, we're going to go through with it to just kind of be thorough, especially because we're up so high. Fuel, make sure I got plenty of gas. Plenty of gas. Looking good. This is such a beautiful part of the world. Now, the interesting thing is if you go on YouTube later and you go dig up a video of somebody actually flying an approach into Telluride, it's kind of brown. This is actually fairly accurate. All right, landing lights on. Looks good for me. That looks awesome. All right, so what am I interested in here? I'm interested in how lazy this plane is for takeoff. So what we're actually going to do is take a moment to go ahead and get the mixture all leaned out because this aircraft is not going to want to take off under normal conditions. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kick the power in here. You can see how sluggish that engine responds. Again, we're at 9,000 feet here. There we go, just like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean the mixture just a little bit. That looks good there, and this is going to be too much in a second. Oh, man, that's another 100 RPM I just got out of this thing. Oh, that's 150 RPM. Wow. And it's dropping. There it is. So that is going to be best mixture for this takeoff today. Again, trying to stack the deck a little bit. This is not the turbocharged version. One of the things I love about Bonanza is I love the yoke. It's just so chunky. Not a bad thing. All right, flaps are set. Anything air conditioning is off. We got our landing lights on. Bacon is on. Let's go ahead and hit the altimeter. And now we're good to go. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to make sure the cowl flaps are in the correct position. All right, let's do it. Man, the headphones are fabulous. Wish my headphones were that good. Actually, what am I saying? My headphones aren't that good. I remember the first time I pressed the automatic button on the headphones, and I'm like, did I break the plane? Like, I could not believe the difference in volume. Well, we're going to get going eventually here. So how's your day? How are the kids? Did you enjoy Halloween? All right, we are single-engine land plane, so we're going to hold off on landing gear until we get enough room. Oof. This thing is not happy. I feel like I'm flying through, like... it's like almost like flying in slow motion. The air is so thin here. Yeah, this is Bonanza power here. All right, we'll go ahead and get rid of the gear first. What we would expect is the nose to go like this, but I didn't notice it do that. If anything, the nose came down a little. It's a little weird. And now, if you wonder why it feels like we're moving in slow motion, it's because of how high we are. Like when you take a look over this real quick, and you can watch my flaps come up as I look over this. Just look at the heights and altitudes and engineering marvels here. It's just, like I said, one of my favorite places to fly. This whole region is just insanely impressive. There we go. Now we're going to try to do a traffic pattern. It's going to be pretty ugly, especially because look at this. If you mess this up, you're going down a long ways. I'd say something stupid like you better have wings, which we do. Oh my goodness, look at that. I am like the altitude of the runway right now. Oh, helicopter 5432, welcome. I don't know if you're one of ours, but if you are, welcome. Okay, so things I'm noticing, it's kind of what I would expect to be with this particular aircraft. Not really getting the most power out of this thing, and one thing I'm really curious about, it's not really producing that much heat either. That's just because the air is so darn thin here. Oh, we do have somebody in the Baron 58P. Great choice, helicopter 5432. All right, this plane pack, yes. All right, I will save my comments to later. Like I said, I just picked this up yesterday, and I said I got to do a live stream to just try it out. I love how stable this plane is. Like if I let go, it just goes. It's so nice. Well, like I said, I'm very curious about the Barons, because the Barons, in my opinion, almost every flight sim makes them too sensitive. So I'm kind of curious to see what it'll be like. I learned a lot about the Barons. One of my favorite stories about the Baron, of course, is almost breaking the radar off of one in the real world. It's learning to fly. It's 2010. You know, Cessna 172, it was an N model. And, of course, with the N model, what they did is, it was in a hangar because it was winter. It was cold. You know, where I live, we actually get weather. And, we're sitting there, and I said, all right, go do the pre-flight. And I'm like, okay. So, the 172 is parked over the top of the Baron. So, I'm sitting there, I'm doing my pre-flight, climb inside. First time of the pre-flight, you go ahead and press the battery. You look at the fuel quantity. You reach for the flap handle, and you put the flap handle down. So the flap handle goes down. And, of course, when you pop the flaps down, you can imagine where the positions of the flaps were versus where the nose of the Baron that was parked underneath it was. So you just got to imagine the flap moving down in slow motion, because that's what it does. And it basically, especially on a 172N, comes down, hits the radar, and instead of breaking the radar off the plane, which I honestly thought was going to happen, I'm like, well, this flight instructor is no longer going to get to flight instruct because of my incompetence. Instead of that happening, the 172 lifted upwards. It actually it got light on the wheels because the radar installation is so strong that with the flap, the plane could actually lift itself up. And I just remember, the flight instructor, just the expression of, when you watch, the car crash you can't look away from. That's the flight instructor's expression on his face. I always remember that look on his face. Brian, by the way. And it's just like, put the flaps up, put them up. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? Because, like, I'm just following the checklist like a stupid person who's never really paid attention to things before. All right. So the Bonanza here, we're coming in for a landing. Telluride is annoying because it's uphill, but that's okay. Like I said, I just want to feel this plane. I'm not going to lie. This thing is stupid steady. I can't get over how steady this is. Like, I feel like I'm riding on rails. I've also been flying a lot of X-Plane lately. X-Plane is a very, very different flight model than this. X-Plane, you actually feel everything. Now, here we go. Let's cut the power early. We should really get sinky. Like a real... If this is a Bonanza, it should get really sinky. Nah, not really feeling it. Not really feeling it. Not, especially at this altitude, it should get really sinky. Huh. All right. I like it. Like I said, that felt like I was moving in slow motion. Like, look how easy I can go on the brakes with this thing. Did you see the little voltage warning when I popped the flaps up? Okay. So this is the first one. This is the A36, and again, we're taking a look today at all 6 of the aircraft that just came out from Black Square. This was the A36. Initial comments, it's Black Square. It's everything you hope Black Square would do. One of the things I'm curious about, too, is, hey, how's it going, helicopter? Meep, meep. Checking you out. Oh, man, he stopped. I was really hoping I could do the little snap fingers thing and kind of point in a certain direction. Ready, set, hang on, here it comes. Bop, 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 bop. There you go. I'm doing finger guns at him. So. All right, let's go grab the next one they gave us, which is the turbocharged version. We'll say it Telluride here. You don't have to go anywhere, helicopter, don't worry. All right, so that was cool. I like that. Obviously, the performance was not as good. Let's grab the TC model, and we can't have this. I'll show you why. Because it's the wrong color. I don't tolerate that. I fly red planes. That's orange. Well, it's got red in it. It's enough red. It's enough to red to count. All right, so this is the next version we're going to take a look at. This is the turbocharged model. This also comes with that pack, K-Tex. And I will do everything, like I said, a little quicker this time, only because, like I said, we're trying to see as much of this as we can today. There we go. Start flight. Don't go nowhere, helicopter. I'm coming. So when I was inside of flying around, seeing different people's planes, one of the other things I noticed about the Baron, again, going back to 2010, this is 15 years ago when I was first learning to fly an airplane, it's a lot smaller than you think it is. Like, the Bonanza is pretty big. When you stand next to a Bonanza, you know that it's a 310 horsepower airplane. You know that you can probably fit 1.5 people in it. When you look at the Baron, you're like, does it have room for seats? You know, it's just kind of one of those things. Also, here we go. I have classic loading. I was literally just there, and that's how long it takes to load, but that's okay. All right, we're back. Let's do it. All right, so this is the turbocharged version, and again, we're just going to do everything real quickly this time, only on account of the fact. Check this out. We got tip tanks. Love it. Of course, we'll go get this thing all booted up and ready just like we did before, and I'm going to cheat as much as I can. Let me show you what I mean by that. Oh, look at the interior. Look the wood. Look at the wood paneling. Ah! Sorry, I get a little excited when I see something that's so old it shouldn't exist. This isn't even like vinyl. This is like actual walnut. Oh my goodness, Bonanza, you guys know how to have a good time. Look at the blue. This is blue. Sorry, I got excited. All right. Sorry. All right, let's make sure everything's the way we want it. There we go. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm going with the KLN 90. Love this thing. I learned GPS on a KLN 90, by the way. All right, let's go fill her up. You can see we have tip tanks. And the cool thing with the tip tanks, check this out. You have switches to put the fuel from the tip tank into the main tanks. So you're not supposed to turn these on until you burn enough fuel to actually warrant transferring fuel out of them. Otherwise, you just basically create a lot of pressure that doesn't do anything. It's just kind of one of those things. Just long, just kind of neat. All right, is the engine empty? Engine is empty. We've got plenty of battery, electrical, everything's off. We'll do our own start today. This thing is going to hate us because it is very cold. We took no time to heat that engine up. All right, heat should be off. Let's make sure all the switches that we're really going to be careful with are off. Bacon light is on. Let's see, starter's good. That's all I wanted to confirm. Check, checkity check before we riggedy wreck. All right, fuel is on the floor. We'll start in the other one today. All right, that looks good. All right, listen to this. So no sound, right? No sound. That was good. All right, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way for a second. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Clear prop. Oh, that was so good. That was excellent. Look at this. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's correct. That is that was accurate. That was accurate. And now we're a turbocharged plane, so you have to actually be a little different as far as aggressive goes. We'll go ahead and slam up the flaps here, get everything warmed up here. Okay, let's see what this is going to look like. Listen for the pop. That was correct. More airplane companies need to learn that when you turn the radio on, you hear it. All right, let's see here. That's going to recharge itself. That's all set, and it is freezing in here, so let's get that engine going. Cabin heat, we can pull it on, but this one's a little different. You can see it's the same style. Like if I pull the handle out, you can see that it's got the same style vents, and you can see all the green air that's coming into here that's slowly killing us. And I like how the target temperature is 88 Fahrenheit. Let me push that in a little bit. We'll try to get to like 72 or something like that. It is very, very cold. All right, that's cool. And of course, nothing fancy, no door seals, nothing along those lines. You'll see that in the turboprop version. All right, your discomfort oximeters looks good. Check, check. Just going through, we have something closed that should not be closed. Let's open up the defroster, and there should be a handle on this. The co-pilot doesn't get a handle. Weird. All right, so that's going to warm us up nice and warm. And while that's going, let's go ahead and go. Like I said, we're here to try each plane. All right, we're getting yelled at by the KLN90. It's like, are you sure? Press enter, enter, enter. There it goes. All the warnings go out. All right, let's give it a try. I still can't get over the wood trim. The wood trim is fantastic. You're like, what is this nerd? This nerd loves his wood trim. Thank you. All right, let's go take it over to the runway, and I'll give this one a try. I'm guessing that's helicopter again. Hello, hello. Like I said, we'll go somewhere else. I just want the audience to see. Oh, wow. Did it get colder? I swear it got grayer and colder. So again, we're just here to show the audience kind of what you're getting. Like I said, Black Square's not paying me for this. I did pay full money for this and everything. It's just, I like it when a job is well done, and I like to kind of show it off. All right. I'm not going to do a midfield takeoff. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. All right. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we had the flaps up this time. Checking my fuel. The fuel should be fine. I love the fact we have tip tanks. That's so cool. In the old days, for those of you who know the Cessna 340, which is basically a cabin plane that Cessna made, very awesome plane, by the way. One of the things that they actually did is the main tank is the tip tank. The wing tank is actually the aux tank. So you actually take fuel from the wing, this tip, as opposed to the inside initially. And it's just like, who made that? What committee decided on that one? I don't know. It's just me, though. All right. Looking good, looking good. Get ourselves all warmed up here, like I said. All right. Pretty good. Go ahead and check that. Looks good. Give me some landing lights. Like I said, we'll go ahead and fly somewhere else for the lovely turboprop one. I know just the airport for that. There we go. Just can't get over this thing. Interesting fact, the Bonanza, when they first came out, they were basically designed to be kind of like Cessna competitors, if you want to think about it. They're like, but our plane has something your plane does not. It's retractable, it's tricycle, it's metal, it's got all these neat features. And it really kind of came into its own. It sort of became the Cadillac of airplanes. All right, everything is good. Let's check to make sure some things are in the green. Ugh. Sorry, engine. You're not going to be very happy with me today. We are turbocharged this time, so one of the things you can listen for really carefully is the nice little whine that it makes. And it's just very satisfying. All right, here we go. Here we go. Wow, this thing's a lot peppier. I love how you can hear the wheels. Okay, that's a little better. That's definitely a little bit more sprightly than its buddy. This thing was originally a little sluggish. This thing has places to be, which I appreciate. The interior, this is fabulous. This plane wins all my awards instantly just because of the interior. As I've made very clear. I was like the avionics here, how we've kind of mixed old and new there. Very 1997 avionics, I guess is what it really would come down to. And I just love that. Look at that. 30 inches, and we're staying at 30 inches. Gosh, this turbocharger is good. Gotta be real careful with it, though, because you gotta be sort of careful with turbochargers in general. Oh, man, this thing goes. This is nice. This is real nice. We go fly over to Aspen if we had more time, but like I said, I don't want to spend 3 hours, so. Oh yeah, that's much nicer. Yep, this is probably my favorite so far. The other one's nice. This is just one nicer. Like like not having to fiddle with the mixture too. It's nice. Yeah, like the difference in performance, especially if you go back and you watch the original traffic pattern here, it's not the same sport. And I'm getting almost 1,500 feet per minute at 10,000 feet. I'm not complaining. Man, this thing's going quick. Very, very, very nice. Now, I wonder if it got any warmer in here. Yeah, it's 73. It got warmer. I need to let go of the rudder pedal there. Been doing too much X-Plane 12. Give me a minute, Sleeper. Give me a minute. I'll get it. I'll get it. This is great. I don't know. The interior of this thing, it feels like a station wagon from 1964. It's fantastic. Just look at this. Look at the fabric. I can smell how awful and moldy that fabric is. Love it. Should probably watch where I'm going and not where I'm trying to go. All right, here we go. And yeah, I should be more aggressive with my cow flaps and all that stuff, but it's such a short flight. I'm not too worried about it. Oh my goodness. The speed difference in this is staggering. Like I cannot get over how much quicker and more responsive this thing is. And again, 10,000 feet is pretty high. We're working with about 40% or 60% of our original atmospheric pressure here. So that's a lot. All right, we have something called barfing. Please don't be barfing poodle. Okay, barfing gopher. A barfing gopher. So I just, of course, was up in Scotland, which was really, really cool. Scotland's amazing. Maybe that's where we should go with the turboprop. But I was over in Scotland, and they're the Hurricoos. And they have Iron Brew. And, of course, they've got a couple other fun things, which I cannot pronounce correctly. But that's okay. Gosh, this thing is so much easier. It's just so much more power. This is like regular landings. Keep in mind, we're actually going very, very quick. Looks good. Little nose up. There's something weird about Flight Sim. It's got this weird, like, delayed action to it when you move. I mean, in the real world, you do get a little bit of a delay, but it's not quite that bad. This thing is floaty. Nice. Nice. This is definitely better. This is definitely better. Definitely better. Let's see here. Somebody's asking a question. Let me go see here. Have you seen sim brief profiles for the new ones? No. We can go check, though. We can go check it. We can definitely go see if there's a sim brief profile. All right. So this is number 2. This is without a doubt. Again, I'm not ranking today, but this is straight up S tier. This is fabulous. This is what I want in an airplane. All right. Let's go try the turboprop version. I'll stay at Telluride because why not? We'll go do somewhere else for the Baron. All right, let's go get the turboprop. Of course, it's the incorrect color, so we got to fix this. All right, I got to go look to see if there's a sim brief profile while it's loading. Oh, it's a better color. I like that. It's kind of neat looking. All right, let's go back to Telluride. Of course, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. All right, like I said, I don't know. The turbocharged one's my favorite so far. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got. Sim brief profile. Let me look. Simbrief.com. For those of you who've not played with Simbrief before, it's fabulous. I actually bought a subscription to it. Like, talk about scandalous on my part. Actually paid the money, so to speak. All right, profiles. So for those of you who can't see what I'm up to, this is what Simbrief looks like. You can use current time. Yes, go ahead. I was playing with the Airbus A340. That's the one over at X-Plane 12. All right, what are we looking for? Baron, Beechcraft. We have a 19. We have a King Air. I do not see a Baron in here yet. So in 4, oh, slow down. Right there, Bonanza 36 and a Baron 58. My friend, look at this. Love it. See on 6X? There it is. It's right there. Nice. So indeed they do. All right. So I've been promised by one of our fellows over on the stream there. This is our fellow CT on 6X, or JD, who is it? JD Sleeper. He has promised me this will be awesome. All right. Oh, what is this? Look at the seats. You can't hear the sound, but I'm pushing pressure on the seat, and can you hear that little noise it's making? Oh my goodness. And how cold it is in here. Oh man, this is cool. All right. New plane. Go easy on the controls. Let's get some gas. All right. As you can see, I'm very enthusiastic. Okay. All right. I'm going to do all the sounds for you folks. So without actually making the sounds, I'll let the thing make the sounds, because why not? All right. Bacon comes on. We're going to confirm that switch is on. Is there anything we have to close? Cabin heat. We want to secure all cabin switches and stuff. We got to be real careful with that with a turboprop. Yep, we're going to pull that out. That's good. That's good. That's good. That looks good to me. Let me go take a look here. We're going to want to leave that open as soon as we have electrical power. Oh, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. I'm just going to let you hear the sounds. I love turboprop starts. I missed the click, 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 click of the ignition. I didn't hear it. It might have been there, but I did not hear it. See, they got that right. They got that right. All right, door seals inflate. We definitely want that. And let's see what we can do. Oh, we got a GTN 750 in this one, and it is freezing in here. All right. Ooh, frozy toes, frozy toes. Cabin heat, we'll pull that out a little bit. Cabin air, defrost. Oil door, we'll leave that alone. Bleed air. I believe you have to pull it to turn it on. There we go. Nice. Yeah, I think you're right, CT on 6X. All right. Let's see if that's going to get us some airflow, or do I have to actually turn the heat on? There we go. So the P3 valve, I've got that open right now. So it's going through the heat exchanger. It's going to my little firewall shutoff. If I pull this all the way out, it's basically going to fire. 165 degree air. That should be enough. Oh, look at the color. Too hot, too hot, too hot. Hey, my passengers wouldn't be complaining. You know, when I fly in the real world, you know, it's you know, you're battling with your wife to see who gets control over, you know, the temperature of the airplane. Well, you know, she always wins, but let me just say that when you open the door and it's cold outside, it's just a whoo of hot air that just comes out. Subtle stuff, I know. All right, we're good. Everything started. We got the generator going. We got the bacon light on. This thing starts nice, smooth, very, very smooth. I like that. All right, we got plenty of gas on board. Let's go try this out. I don't know that I like the interior. Oh, it's got the beta. Oh, did you hear it? Listen. Oh, I love beta. So one of these days, I'll put the detent on my joystick. I have a nice throttle from Verbal, one of the TM Mongoose 3s or something like that. But you can actually, like, basically screw little tiny detents into the throttle that lets it kind of like get stuck as you move it. And you can put a detent in there for something like beta range. Even though I know we're really not supposed to be using beta range, but oh well. But watch this. I can put the beta range all the way back. See how we're like slowing down going up the hill? Ah, so good. Another thing you want to listen for too is the developers, which I really appreciate. You can hear when that little piece of metal clicks off the size of it. Like if you listen. Did you hear that click? That's the sound that reminds you that you popped yourself out of that range. It just makes it a little bit easier. That's a very black square thing. I appreciate it. In the real world, you just can't hear that. Of course, in the real world, you could definitely feel it when you're in beta. The whole thing kind of buffets a little. And again, it depends on how aggressive a beta range it is. Hang the lights on. All right, I've been promised this is awesome, JD Sleeper. This is real weather, by the way. And here we go. Gosh, this thing just wants to fly. All right, I do not have the manual in front of me. I don't know what its takeoff torque is, but I do know what my limits are. All right, looks good, looks good, looks good. I'm holding the brake down. Love the GTN. Oh my goodness, who was in this plane last and messed this up? Folks, it's heading up. That is the way it was intended from the beginning. All right, let's go. quick. That's quick, but it's not like rocket ship quick. You know what? I'm kind of surprised there wasn't a lot of P factor there. Like, I kind of expected with that much torque that this thing would have gone like that on me on takeoff, but it did not get it at all. I wonder if I've, like, accidentally put some kind of damping on or something like that, because this is, like... It's not very sensitive? You know, I don't know. That's just me. Holy smokes, look at that climb rate. I'm getting 3,000 feet per minute. That's that's incredible. And now you can see I'm way out of... Okay, that's too much. That's too much. Settle down, settle down. Gosh, this thing goes fast. Wow. Okay, yeah, that was pretty impressive. I'm being chased down by a helicopter. Nice, nice. Yes, this... I don't know. I don't know, JD. I mean, the interior looks kind of nice, and it's not nearly as moldy and stinky as the other interior, so I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Still not pressurized, though, so we'd have to actually put some oxygen on. The climb is fabulous, though. Holy smokes. Gosh, what a climb rate. One thing I have is on my joystick, this little, like, thumb, like, lever joystick. It just makes it, you can do these, like, dramatic pans. When in Colorado, visit Scenic. It's all good. I don't know. Oh, man. I like the fact I don't have to worry about the cow flaps anymore. It's kind of nice. Okay, okay. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. I'm at about 300 torque, and I'm doing 100. It's enough. I wonder how this thing is on gas compared to its buddies. Probably at least 10 gallons per hour or worse, but it's probably also another 30 knots faster. Problem is I've been flying a lot of Cirrus lately, so, like, I'm used to, like, 36 gallons per hour, but, like, it's weird when you get into a Bonanza. Yeah, we're a little low. Well, it's all relative. This is nice. This is nice. Very solid. Like I said, not a lot of drama. I kind of like that. Pull that nose up a little bit, because I think there are mountains that way. Yeah, this is very controllable. Like, for a turboprop, it doesn't have a lot of drama. If you want drama, go play the Lankier Evolution. That's got drama. I wonder what these people in this house think right now. And the Bonanza Society is here again. I've lost sight of helicopter there. Let's hope he's doing okay. Now, one thing I don't like about turboprops is when they get sinky, they really get sinky. And again, sinky is a technical term to simply refer to having a high vertical rate when you are on approach. Like, I don't feel like I have to, like, stare at the gauges. Like, I just feel very confident. Like, there's nothing twitchy about this plane, which I don't know if that's accurate. I've never actually flown one. Got to sit in one. Like I said, they're tiny. Or not tiny, they're actually pretty good sized. Wow, this is a totally different speed and approach. Now, what I'm really curious about is how good is the reverse on this. Let's find out. Did you hear I just hit the beta? We should be able to coast this thing in. Here we go. Talk about coast. What altitude are we at? I think I still like the turbocharged version better. I could definitely see the benefit of this one because it really, really has good performance. Like, that climb is impressive, and I'm sure we could probably get it up to 250 too. But I don't know, the turbocharged is kind of more fun. All right, fabulous, everyone. Let us go somewhere else and grab the Barons now that we've had a chance to see the Bonanzas. It's been a Bonanza of Bonanzas. Now it's time for a Bonanza of Barons. Let's do it. All right, of course, I don't have enough time to ask everybody, where would you like to take off from? So I'm going to take off from where I know my home. Let's go head over to lovely Connecticut here. I'm going to go to Kilo Hotel Foxtrot Delta. We have terrible winds today. This is actually real world weather, like I said. So it should make it a little bit more fun than it needs to be for us, but I think it's fine. All right, let's see here. Again, we're at Kilo Hotel Foxtrot Delta. I'm going to go take myself right down here. Looks pretty good, but obviously we need to get ourselves a Baron, so let's go find one. You can see I like all black square stuff. The spaceship, I think it's kind of fun. All right, let's go ahead and start with the Baron 58 Professional. This is the basic version. They have the pressurized version, and then they are the P version, and they have the TC version. So you get kind of them all three in the pack there. All right, that's the wrong color, so we got to fix that first. Let's see, livery here. I'll go to red. That would be the correct color for this plane for me. That looks good to me. You did not just mess up my... You just messed up everything I just did. Oh, Hartford. Whoop, that's Bradley. All right, Hartford. Got to come down to Hartford. All right, let's go right there. Set as departure. We're going to start on the ground. Shut down. Ready to go. Now, the history of the Baron is actually kind of interesting, too, because going back to the Beechcraft Company, you know, you had a bunch of companies coming out like the Aztec and like the Seneca and stuff, and this was kind of their answer to it. You know, it was like they called it Twin Bonanza at one point, and really the Baron is its own thing, and that kind of came out of it, whereas the other companies basically took like the body of a Piper and just put another engine on it, kind of a thing. This is unique. The Barons come in different lengths. You can tell what length it is by if it's a 56, 58, 55. That just tells you how long it is. 58 is the big one. It's the expensive one. If I recall correctly, back in the 60s, when they were coming out, they had the E models, which were like the cheap ones, and they made those just to be like the economy model twin engine plane. But the joke is that half of the sales of all Barons in history have been the economy model. So much for that. But it's kind of a neat plane. Historically speaking, it is a fabulous trainer. It is also a very, very stable plane. It is wonderful for instrument approaches, and the weather is awful. I can tell you the weather is awful. So this is what it looks like outside today. This is where, like I said, very close to where I live, and it's this is going to be interesting. But let's check this out now that we've taken a look at the Bonanzas. Okay, big nose. It's already dirty. I got to clean this thing up already. Love the little engines here. Nice open cowling. Love the landing light sitting right there. We got 3 bladers on both sides. I appreciate the air intake at the top. That makes it a little bit easier. Ow, my head. Oh, look at I love the winglet. That's a nice touch. Good little modeling here. Got that nice whack. Nice. All right, let's climb inside. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ka-punk. Ah. All right, that is a disconcerting sound. I don't know what the deal with the sound is. That tells me something did not reset correctly when we changed planes. So we're probably going to have to fiddle with something. I'm not worried about it, though. All right, pilot air, all that stuff gets turned off. Parking brake, that'd be nice to have. All right, looks good. All my instruments. Yeah, this reminds me of the Duke 60. But you know what's cool about a Baron? Check this out. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Look at this. It has the rack, so you can hang up your suit. So when you're going to your business current, you can do one of these out the window now. It's fine. All right, let's get started. I like how the gauges did the little wiggly waggly. Nice touch. In before everything's badly flooded. Watch this. Nope, I'm wrong. But we have a really bad pressure buildup here. That does not surprise me. That looks good to me. We'll go ahead and open those up. So we're going to have to do something to kind of clear all that. No big deal, though. Oh, it's freezing in here, too. All right, let's go ahead and get everybody all nice and primed. This one's pretty easy to prime, though. Here we go. Nice. All right, so the rule is the left engine always takes more effort than the right engine to start. Here we go. Okay, that was supposed to be the hard one. Let's try the right one. See? Did you see it? I told you, the right engine always starts better than the left engine. It's just a fact of life. Guess what? Forgot to hit the bacon light. My bad. So one of the cool things with the Baron is I always talk about this, and they did a really nice job modeling the interior. I got to give it a little bit more power, because otherwise I'm going to get all these angry warnings. It's perfectly fine with me, though. And let's get about 1,000 revolutions per minute. One of the big things with the Baron is, even though it's a twin-engine plane, if you lose an engine, you're kind of cooked. And there's really not a lot you can do. You're still going to crash. And that's just kind of one of those things. All right, go ahead and hit that. One of the things I really like, though, check this out. You have an independent heater on this thing. Like, you can actually turn on a gas heater. Look at this. So if we go to cabin here, see how it's got its own combustion heater? You go, turn this fan on first, pop the heater, and it actually ignites this little thing that'll heat you. We have this on the Duke, too. One thing you got to watch out for, though, if you look carefully, it blows all the heat overboard unless you actually open the air. That's just kind of one of those things. So if I want actual heat, I have to actually open the heat. And you can see my target temperature is 143 degrees, which is plenty. Nope, don't touch that one. Got to slow it down a little bit. And again, my co-pilot, my wonderful, beautiful wife, she would want it to be at least 200. But that's perfectly fine the way that is. All right, let's try it out. Now, one of the things I did, which was very naughty, is park myself next to the runway here. Again, Kilo Hotel Foxtrot Delta, for anybody who wants to kind of come on by, kind of a thing. Alrighty then. A little bit on the brakes there. This airplane is going to hate me during this takeoff. It is way too cold. Actually, it's not bad. I take it back. Everything's in the green, which is unrealistic, but that's okay. All right, what are we looking for in a Baron? A good Baron should be a little too sensitive. A good bearing should have fabulous pitch response, and a good bearing should be very, very irritating when you change configuration. You're looking for like the nose to pitch up, to pitch down, and all those things when you activate your various flaps and gear changes and stuff like that. We do not need flaps for takeoff, which is nice. We can if we're really heavy, but there's really no point. It's just drag. All right, let's take a look. Prop sync should be off, otherwise bad things happen. Trust me on that one. That looks good. That looks good. Cow flaps are open. Baggage stored. Key is on the floor. That makes me feel better. We got plenty of fuel for flight. Lights, camera, action. All right. I love that. Dual switches. That's neat. Makes you feel more official when you have dual landing lights. Chickadee check. All green. Green, 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 green. All right. Let's do it. Look at how strong the wind is. I am full aileron left right now. Wow, this thing is a rocket. Full right rudder, by the way. Look. That's how bad the wind is today. Look at the sock. This is real world weather. Nice. Whew. Yeah. Gosh, that's terrifying. That is a lot of wind. It's been very windy the last couple days, and this is the nice day, actually, and you'll see from one of the videos next week that the wind conditions actually got progressively worse. Gosh, does this thing climb. Like, remember how the turboprop climbed? This thing, I'm already at my traffic pattern altitude. I gotta pull the power back. So there's no way on the earth that I'm going to attempt to land at a 26-knot crosswind with this plane. I'm pretty confident I can do it. I'm pretty confident the plane could do it. I'm not going to do it anyway. I'm going to try the short runway because I'm very, very curious. There's Rensselaer. I was going to go flying a couple weeks ago, and they had a football game, and you can see how close the football is to the airport. Yeah, exactly. So there's no way that was going to get to fly. Okay, this thing's ridiculous. It is so fast. Not quite Beechcraft Duke fast, but like it just goes. Let me get the gear back down to help slow me down. So what I expect is this action when the gear come down, and it didn't happen. So that kind of surprises me. But it's okay. Everything else is cool. Helicopter 5432, welcome. R. Jones 30, welcome. Elmer Wish, you're just kind of chilling there out. We're starting to pick up some people. It's a popular place to fly. Connecticut is one of the aviation capitals of the United States. All right. So what we're doing here is we're landing on 29er today. Oh, this is going to suck for us. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, this is going to be bad. So the only thing we have going for us is a 26-knot headwind. So this will be interesting. So quick comments. It's not as sensitive as I remember. A lot of Barons and a lot of flight sims I've flown over the years are very sensitive. Like I'm being rough with these controls. Let me show you what I mean by rough. And you can see that like it's got like a delay. See how like I push it all the way and it takes time for it to get there? I don't know why that's there. There's no reason for it. And at these speeds, your strength would have no difficulty snapping the ailerons one way or the other. So I think somewhere when they were programmed, look, this is just not what happens, folks. Somewhere when they were designing it, they probably made a decision to make it simpler to fly. So they basically pre-damped it. But I'm not going to lie. Look at that. Full deflection. No. That's, no, folks. No. I paid for the full speed. Let me use the full speed. So what you're not going to get to see here is there is a dike, and I've made comments on it before, and all you have to know is it's there, it's in your way, and when you come in to land on 29er, I have a fun story about this, but let me get to the ground first. Gosh, this thing is stupid stable. You can see the crab angle I've got it at right now. Ooh, that's windy. All right, we're a little slow. We're very slow. Whoa. Bit of a rodeo there. Ah. That was nice. That was nice. So I had to land on this on a Cessna 182 with 2 passengers in the back seat and my co-pilot, my beautiful wife, up in the front seat. And I hadn't done a short field landing in a long time. So when I was coming in for landing, I go over the dike, and I'm sitting there going, oh, God. And I told my wife, my co-pilot, I'm like, all right, get the flaps up as soon as we touch the ground. So we go over the thing. Those wheels touched the number 29, probably on the front part of the 29. She slammed the flaps up. I had stopped by the time I had gotten to, like, here, like the first light. And I'd never been on this taxiway before, so I didn't know what to do with myself. And again, that's what 30 knots of wind looks like, folks. It's pretty nasty. All right. This is cool. I like this. I like this. This is the default one. I want to see what the other ones are like now. All right, I got a question here. The Happy Taco. You're asking, do you use a different HOTAS for MSFS and TCS? No. I actually use the same setup for everything I use. All right, so this is the TC. You can see it's already the correct color. This is the turbocharged version. We'll probably do an instrument approach. Actually, we'll save the last one for an instrument approach. Save configuration. Let's go ahead and get back down to the ground. Set his departure on the ground shutdown. Let's do it. Yeah, I use the same setup for everything. Basically, on my left, I've got, like I said, it's like the Mongoose CM3 or whatever. I forget what it's called. It's the Virpil's throttle setup. I have the little control panel 1 from Virpil on my left. Between my legs, it's a VKB setup. I have one of the little monster mounts, so it's like on a 100mm extension, which makes it a little bit bigger. And it's just easy. It's got the little, I think it's the stick off like the Sukhoi 27 that I've got on the top, and it's tilted at a 15-degree angle. It's great. All right, this one is the cool one. This is a turbocharged version of the plane we were just flying. Climb inside, looks exactly the same, except that it has one little added bonus to it. And that's the fact that when you look up here, you'll notice the manifold pressure stops at 40. This thing is fast. Can't wait, can't wait. Let's try it out. I also noticed KLN 90, because this is the moderate version. This is the moderate version. Wow, this thing carries 202 gallons of fuel. That's insane. And for some reason, the engines are totally flooded. Look at that. I don't know what flooded them. I mean, you could just run the starter for a while to basically clear them out. That's a simple way. Again, if you do one of these in the real world, if you just cranked it, I can actually watch this. Problem is there's no incoming fuel. You could see that you could basically empty the cylinder out that way, but something's still filling with fuel. See that? There's something weird going on. I think it must be some like back pressure or something like that. Again, we can clear this out real quick. Clear, clear, repair. Like I said, we'll clear it out. I don't know why it does this. This is something that's going. Oh no, that's fighting words. That, my friend, is fighting words. Let me get that in a second. I just want to get everything all boosted and ready to go here. Remember, left engine starts worse than the right engine every time. Okay, that was at the left. Watch the right. Watch the right. Oh, wow. Right engine's the one not catching today. There he goes. I am disappointed. It's always the other way around. All right, let's go get that. All right, that's perfectly fine. That's good to go. Alternators are on. Everything else is good. This is turbocharged, so we leave it alone. All right, mixture's going to be fine. Avionics, listen for the pop. Delightful. All right. Let's see, Piero and Pauline Cosivar, 9667 asks, hi, do you think the Bonanza is better than the A2A Comanche? That's fighting words, my friend. And the reason that's fighting words is the fact that both the aircraft are fabulous. When I fly airplanes in the real world, there's so much concentration with trying to preserve the quality of the airplane at all times. And this is going to sound, I don't know if you want to take this pretentious or whatever judgment you want to place upon me for this. But the reality is that if I feel that I have to be really careful and do everything perfectly, precisely all the time with an airplane, that to me is the sign of a really, really well-modeled airplane. Because that tells me that, you know, I have to do the starting right. I have to make sure I take care of the engines. I can't be too fast. I can't be too slow. I have to use the cowl flaps correctly. You know, I have to not cook my avionics. All those little details, in my opinion, when you get a lot of those and they're done well, that is like absolutely the best thing I can say as a flight simulator person for getting it right. You know, for those of you who play DCS, the F4 Phantom, for example, they did a fabulous job simulating the different states of maintenance. That makes such a difference with the plane, and you feel like you have to kind of be like extra careful with it because of like the different thing. A2A does a beautiful job of making me feel like I'm going to damage my airplane if I do anything to it. The folks over here, the Black Square, they make my favorite airplane in general aviation history, which is the Duke 60. So I'm a little biased. The thing is, A2A just does a little bit better job at the engine maintenance side of things. Black Square in general is so much more polished. I guess that's kind of what I'm going to say. A2A, I always feel like I'm flying like a real plane that I have to kind of be careful with. Black Square, like, I feel like it's just one less. Like the engine management, even though it's good and it's got great failures, it's just not to that tier, even though that obviously the startup, you can see how I was making the jokes between the two engines and stuff like that. But that's just how it is. So in my opinion, like I said, the Comanche versus the Bonanza, the Comanche is a really cool old plane, but I'd fly the Bonanza more because it's more practical for what the flying I do. Now the A600, that's a little different, but we'll get there. All right, turbocharged version. Here we go. So we're listening for the turbocharged and we're looking for turbocharged lag. So what I'm looking for here is my RPM to go up, the turbo to catch up, and then for it to surge. That's what we're looking for. Let's take a look what happens. Mostly. This is a fresh plane, though. Wow, this thing goes. Look at how much aileron. Oh my goodness, my left foot is all the way, right foot's all the way to the floor. Whoa. Okay, I like this one better. That's nice. That, my friend, is good old Connecticut weather right there. That is every day I go flying, I swear. This is awesome. Oh, this thing is so good. Yeah, so the other one was good. This is great. This, what a ripper. Oh my goodness, this thing, we got places to go. We should go places with it, right? We're saving that for the next one. Okay, I'm already at traffic patterns. Oh my gosh, this is so fast. I'm giggling here because this is more what I think of when I think of a Baron. The Baron that we just flew feels very like a 1960s Baron. This feels like what I think of with a Baron, where it's like too fast for its own good until you lose an engine. Give it a little tap of trim. Oh my goodness, this is so fast. All right, 2400. And we're supposed to do 30 inches as cruise. And that's 30 and 24. All right, that's impressive. That's some real acceleration and some real climb rate. This thing, man, if I had to do instrument practice, this is what I would probably pick. This is absolutely fabulous for that. It is so fast. Interesting thing is I'm only getting about 170 though. This is about Cirrus speeds, so we should probably go fly an ILS approach with it, but we'll save that for the last one. Just trying to get the trim worked out. Also, a good measure of a really, really well done plane. It should trim easily. Yeah, not that trim is easy in the real world, but it is. It's easier than the sim. Planes in the real world stay where you put them. There we go. So I'm trimmed out. That's fantastic. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right. So let's see here. Go 108.55. It's going to start sinking. It's like I knew it was going to do that. So 327. Alrighty then. Bring the nose up. Not bad. Not bad. I like the little wind noise in my ears. Like I said, trying to keep it kind of basic. Alright. That's good. We're going to get there in about 2 seconds here. I'm probably going to overshoot it like I always do. What did I want to do? Turn that one on. There we go. Nice. All right, let's see just how stable it is on an instrument approach. Again, I've got this thing. This is trim. This is not autopilot. And the thing I can't get over is how little turbulence there is today. With a wind like that, there's no way you'd have this little turbulence. So we're going to be taking that runway right there, as you can see off my left wing. That's lovely Bradley International Airport. The amount of times I've done the combo where you call up Hartford and say, hey, can you get me a landing over here at Bradley? They're really good about it. And again, it depends on the weather, because you don't have to go all the way up to Massachusetts to take this landing, but it'll be fine. And there it is right there. Get ready for the turn in. There's one light. And let's get our gear down. And we'll see what kind of instrument plane this is. Okay, so there's no drama when you put the wheels down. I don't get that. Oh, hey, Pugmobile. How's it going, Nemesis? It's been fun. One of the things is you'll notice probably in my videos the last 2 months is my high schoolers this year, they've taken my voice from me. All right, let's go into, hey, it's Microsoft Flight Simulator 10 mode. Keep in mind, we're still dealing with that 26 knot wind, by the way. There we go. Whoops. Come on, hotshot. This is what I love about this airplane. It is just so rock solid. Cheers from Italy. Oh, absolutely. I've definitely been to Italy. Italy's an incredible, beautiful country. Like, Europe in general goes out of its way to try to make Europe look like Europe. I know that sounds like obvious, but if you've been there, you'll know what I mean. Not bad, not bad. 2.7 to go. I think, what is minimums here? It's, oh my goodness, it's pretty low. It's like 410 feet or something like that. 2.4. Oh, pay attention to one of them. Man, this wind is strong today. But I'm all over the sky. Whoa, whoa, bro, you just failed your instrument test. What the? Am I icing? Nope, I'm just very close to the runway. That would have been a missed approach. All right, let's settle it down. And then we'll try our last one, and then we'll call it a day. Show me a person who can put a plane on the ground that gently. You can't do that in the real world. It's just not possible. Or it is, but it doesn't happen very often. All right, time for our final airplane today. And I'll kind of make my last couple comments there. Not bad, not bad. This is pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. All right, time for the P model. Oh boy, P model time. Our last one today. We could do this one too, but that's fine. All right, wrong color. Much better. Rocket Ship RS. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. So the P model is actually two different models in one. We'll head back to, we'll do Bradley for this one. For those of you who'd like to join us, KBDL. Let's see here. We need to take off basically from where we just came from. Fuel box, that looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to put myself on the ground right here near the end of the runway. So the P model is a pressurized, turbocharged version of the Bonanza, or yeah, the Baron. The nice thing about this, obviously, is you get all the benefit of the turbocharger, but you also get the benefit of a quiet cabin, and you can breathe, which is, I don't know, I think it's overrated sometimes, but not bad, not bad. All right, here's the last one. There's a sad sound. Okay, okay, same kind of plane. I think the only thing that you can use to identify it, yeah, round window. That's how you know that it's the P model. Nice, nice. Let's climb on inside. I bet you we're going to have that issue again. Yep. See how it's absolutely flooded? I don't know what the deal with that is. Some variable that's not getting reset correctly or something like that, I'm sure. All right, payload's good. All that stuff is good. Plenty of oxygen. We got some GTNs here today, so it should be good. All right, let's do it. So we're looking for 5 count, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the trick I like to use is about half mixture. This works well in the real world too, but make sure you crack the throttle. All right, left engine. I choose you to go first. See? See? All right, right engine. No problem. If this were A2A, I'd be here for about 15 minutes cranking the engine to kill the battery twice. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just one of those things. It's just different. All right, so this is our final airplane today. This is a cool plane. This is the pressurized turbocharged version. You can take a look down here. Then we actually have two switches. We have one for door seals, which should make a little hiss noise, but I don't think we're going to hear it. If it was, I did not hear it. There should be a thing on the door that tells us, yes, cool. There's a little door. I like how I can push a button for it. And then, of course, we have the cabin pressurizer. And I love how we have the emergency button we can push to basically cancel that out. Like I said, neat little feature, and definitely critical whenever you're dealing with a pressurized cabin here. All right, we will go ahead and head back to where we came from. If we're being brave, we could go over to Wyndham real quick or something. That's going to take a couple minutes to get there, so I don't want to take too long, because we've already been going on like an hour and change at this point. All right, let's see here. I just want to get myself organized. Yeah, an hour and change. Do we want to go up to Barnes? Where do we want to go? I'm just trying to think. We could do Northampton. That could be kind of fun. Let's do that. Northampton. Let's see here. Oh, I can't know. That's not how you spell that. Northampton ICAO is 7 Bravo 2. 7 Bravo 2. 7B2. Oh, yep, there it is. It's going to take a few moments to actually get the GPSs away, but that's okay. Well, it gives us a moment to kind of get over the runway. So this is the turbocharged version. I'm sorry, this is the pressurized and turbocharged version. So we'll set it up to about 3,000 feet cabin, which is pretty high. Make sure this is set to 12 o'clock. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. Trust me on that. Fuel. I love how it's USB. This is so nice. All right, you want to see something really nice on a Bonanza, or a Baron, I should say? Watch this. Is that nice? I think there's another one, too. Let's see here. Heat. We'll pull that out a little bit. Cabin. Let's see here. I've got to turn some things on here because we're not getting any heat yet. Kind of surprises me here is we can't close the we can pull this closed if we wanted to shut off pressurization air, but we can't get heat from it. Kind of surprises me, but that's just, I don't know, it's the way they chose to do it. All right, we get the vent blower going. That's going to be this little fan here, and we should probably get the target temperature to something a little bit more human being here. And they'll go down to about 80. It's fine. About 70. That's fine. Well, we're going to have to pull it out a little bit. It's going to get cool by the time we get in the air. All right, that's fine with me. Engines are warm. Payload is good. Everything's good. Let's see here. One thing I've been neglecting doing is keeping an eye on cylinder 4. Oh, geez, it's already warmed up. That's better. Okie doke. Let's go. So for those of you joining us much later, basically we're taking a look at all the different aircraft that Black Square put together in that neat little pack of Bonanzas and Barons. So we did all of the Bonanzas earlier. We're doing the Barons now, and this is the P Baron. This is the final one. I have a soft spot still for the A36TC, because the interior is so fantastic. Whoa, sorry, helicopter 5432. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and take ourselves to the air. That was dangerous and deadly. All right, everything's good there. Looks good. Go ahead and get our landing lights. We're going to pop up real quick to Northampton and go from there. And this will be a good opportunity to kind of get a feel for the autopilot too. Speaking of which, do 3,000 feet, and we'll arm it, and it should be good. Let's do it. Wow, no surge at all. These are fresh turbochargers. Ooh. Not what I kind of relaxed, actually. It's I feel a lot heavier, if that makes sense. And I like how the default nav immediately ignored what I set it to, so now I have to go back and change it. All right, let's do it. That was the Cirrus turn right there. Turning before I had gotten clear of the runway. again, it's a loving thing. You should see what Cessna pilots do. They take off, and they take 45 minutes to get clear of the traffic and cost each airliner millions of dollars. All right, we'll reduce the RPM here. We shouldn't be ripping too hard. These are big, expensive engines, so... There we go. Right there. Nice. Good way to see if the autopilot works. You hit the autopilot test button and see if it gets cooked. Yep, nice. It kicks it off. It should have beeped when it did that. That's okay, though. There it goes. Now, theoretically, we're still on arm capture, so when we get to $3,000, you should see the trim light fire up, and it should basically get very angry at us. Got a big angry red trim here to tell us we didn't give it enough trim. There it goes. Wow, that's an aggressive autopilot. We have not tested the autopilot yet today. Ooh, that's aggressive. That is aggressive. Yeah, stellar approach. The big thing with this plane in the real world is you do have two engines, and really the second engine just makes you go faster. It doesn't give you any advantage as far as redundancy. As a matter of fact, now you have a 2 times more likely chance of losing an engine, because now you have 2. It's just kind of that classic misconception. So Northampton is basically right over Mount Holyoke, which we can see right off the nose there. And we're just going to come chewing over here. I just wanted to see how this thing would be as far as cruising goes. Again, you shouldn't feel anything too untoward when you do that. Cowl flaps closed. We'll slam those up, and we'll just see how cylinder 4 is doing. Cylinder 4 is almost always the hottest, and that's 371. It's going to go a little higher. Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me on live YouTube. Do it. Come on. Go higher. I guess not. I'll come back to that. I'm waiting. Ah. Nope. All right, so we're going to be landing at Northampton today. So let me show you the Connecticut River for those of you who are not from this part of things. Let's go climbing this ride. Okay, so that's Springfield, Massachusetts, right off my right there. And you can see, actually, see Riverside Park, the amusement park. We're basically chewing right over right now. Important thing to know here is the little river. If you follow that up through this mountain pass, there's a really neat little highway that kind of goes along. There's also an Air Force base right there, a B-52, C-17, stuff like that. And there's an Air Force base over here, which is F-15. So obviously, they just kind of have dueling Air Force bases there. They're really nice folks, by the way. They will take care of you, and sometimes there's an air show there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over this mountain range, very, very obvious, Mount Tom, Mount Holyoke over here. And basically right on the other side, can't quite see it now, there's a place where the highway basically goes this way, and there's this very large runway that we're going to try to land at. It also has a really, really bizarre, what do I want to say, decision by the designer. You'll see when we get there. I love this round window, this universal sign that you're dealing with something that's pressurized. You know what I don't love? Look at how, like, it's just a little tiny piece of metal holding that thing closed. But the good thing is we're positively pressurized right now. Speaking of which, you know what we did not do? We did not check to make sure it did work. That's about right. We could actually dump the pressure and nothing bad would happen. All right, let's make sure this is working properly. Oh, yeah. This is just like the real world, too. You can't see your tablet. Theirs looks about as good as mine. Cabin. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Now, what I'm a little worried about is going to be the wind direction. I'm pretty confident the wind's coming from that way. And if you wonder how I know, it's pretty obvious. By the way, fun fact too, for those of you who are in the New England area and fly planes, if you come down here, right where my mouse is, that's Tobiko Japanese Asian fusion restaurant right there. And not bad. I like their katsu. I always think their rice is a little dry. That's just me. But my wife says that the sushi's pretty good. They're also quick, so if you need to come in here and land, do it. Most embarrassing thing out of this airport for me so far is when I went to take off one time, of course, I call for a taxi, and they say taxi to the runway via Bravo, or Alpha, rather. I'm expecting to go down here. He wanted me to take off from here. I just never done a midfield takeoff before, but when you're in a little plane, it doesn't really matter. This is so cool. This does not look like this right now. It would be a lot more fall-y. Like you'd see, everything would be brown and gray. This is much too summer looking. I don't know. I like this one. This one's very Duke-like. Like, I feel like I have to kind of, not babysit it, but it's very Duke-like. if you look really carefully here, there's actually a ski slope. I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well, though. Getting a nice tour while we're enjoying our flight. And there's Route 91. So what you won't see... there it is. Never mind. You can actually see the VA. They just did a massive refurbishment project of this right here. Again, the reason I know this is one of the things we like to do is we go up to Vermont that way. And the reason we always like to go out there is because, there's got a lot of good bookstores and stuff like that. But this is kind of your Holyoke zone. There's actually a mall pretty much right underneath us. Yeah, you can't miss it. Absolutely huge. But I've been up here a couple times for instrument approaches. And there's our runway. Okay, let's do it. Cool. And I love my escort. Can't see your name, but I'm guessing it's a helicopter pilot from earlier. I said, remember in the early days when I could do streams on a normal basis. Looking behind me and seeing 30 airplanes. Such good times. And there's the towers. We don't really see the White House very well, though. That's okay, though. You'll see the college coming up on your right. You can actually see it right here, Agawam. And our destination is right on the other side of this hill. You'll see it in a few seconds. Man, it is a lovely... There it is. I've told you there'd be ski slope. Mount Tom, by the way, if you're curious. What they actually do is at one point they had like a water slide, I think. And it's just one of those things I think back to. And I'm like, really? Like, because it's... You want to make a water slide that big? And my, of course, kid self was like, yeah, hook us up. Kind of a thing like that. All right, so what you're looking for here is you'll notice we have a double twist. You can see Route 91 here comes kind of to the left again. And then it kind of comes back to the right again. When I was taking my pilot's test for the purposes of the written knowledge, which I did pretty well on, thank you. One of the things is that this is where you had to go. So it was a pretty long drive for me. But if you actually look really carefully where my mouse is, this is the airport. So we're going to go ahead and pop off the automatic pilot, and we're going to start sneaking our way over here. Now, one of the things I learned recently is Continental engines, as long as you're smooth with them, you really don't have to worry about shock cooling them. That's something I'd be a little more terrified about in the real world than it would be in the sim, naturally. But there's our runway. This is East USA. The East USA server. And there it is. Waiting to see this really weird selection by the engineer here. Yep, there's the testing facility right there. Of course, this is called the Seven Sisters, by the way. If you count them, there's more than 7. I'm not going to complain. All I know is that if you want a really good hike and absolutely wear your kids out, this is where you go. And obviously, if you're landing approach like I am right now, just be mindful of the fact there are mountains here that will mangle you. And again, there's the White House. You can see there's a couple people parked out there today. They'd probably be picnicking or something like that, but that's all good. All right, let's do it. Now, if this is truly a Baron, what I should be able to do is crack the flaps. There we go. Should be able to crack the flaps. And this thing should just go wah and sink to nothing. Yeah, it's a little bit too much rudder. I've been flying too many tail draggers lately. Sorry, engines. All right, idiot check. Lights, camera, action. We are good. Let's do it. Okay. So remember earlier when we were landing the other Barons and I commented that there was a really strong headwind? Holy smokes, I feel like I'm moving in slow motion. That wind is so strong. There it is. And that little building on the right has a really cool flight sim in it. Now check this out. In the event that you can't make the runway, as you can see, you're in good, safe hands. My gosh, what a wind. I'm increasing power, not because I'm getting slow, but because I feel like the runway's getting away from me. Gosh. Look at the hay bales. Stand by for lowered frame rates. Welcome to Northampton, by the way. A few minutes ago, I mentioned there's always that one feature that you're like, why do they put that at the airport? This would be that one feature on my left. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't that so goofy? Who does that benefit? Like, who's supposed to be benefiting from this? Obviously, what I just did is the benefit. But as you can see, you can actually sneak around the back, but it'd just be really, really dangerous. All right, we have made it to the end of our stream today. Like I said, I wanted to try out each one of those. I guess I could throw out some comments. They're all really well done. If there's anything I would comment on that doesn't feel right, is this that the controls are clearly heavily damped. You know, if I move these from one position to the other, I should just be able to snap them one way or the other, and you can see very clearly it does not do that. That's just, I think they made that as a choice just to make the planes easier to fly. In the real world, where are you going? In the real world, naturally, of course, you can hit it as hard as your muscles will allow you to do it, kind of a thing like that. All right, let's go ahead and pause this thing, like I said. All right, other comments. Black Square really did a nice job. I think at $70, again, this is USD, you're doing a really, there's worse things. You obviously have to be a fan of it. Personally, I'm not a big multi-engine guy. Like, I'm cool with multi-engine, like it's fine. But the turboprop Bonanza is fantastic. I will definitely probably spend more time on that just because it's so powerful. I really like the turbocharger Bonanza as well because it's just glorious and it looks amazing on the inside. As far as the Barons are concerned, this is definitely the most versatile Baron of the group. It's pressurized, it's turbocharged, it's still easy to fly, it's still going to have good range, the engines start really easily. There's really no weird drama to it, so I kind of appreciate that kind of a thing like that. Oh, I missed it. Oh, wrong switch, wrong switch. Cool, I like that. So yeah, if there's any quick questions or anything like that, feel free to throw them out. Otherwise, I will do some awful things to this airplane while you're all deciding if you have any quick questions before we call it a day. Like I said, I like them. If you're into aircraft like, ooh, we should get a picture. Helicopter's right there. Excuse me, helicopter. I'll borrow you for that picture. And I'll take that right there. Thank you. All right, thank you for the picture. All right, let's do some naughty things. So, any questions for anybody or things you'd like to see? Like I said, there's no guarantee I can do streams consistently. Like I said, unfortunately, my career makes it very, very interesting sometimes. It's tough enough to get the YouTube regular stuff done. Trust me on that. Excuse me. Chop, 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 chop. There we go. Nice. So, as general tradition in this game, as I always like to, after the flight's over, is go swimming. Because why not? And it's always fun to see the stall behavior of the airplanes too, but it's a good place to end, kind of thing. Nice plane. Again, real world weather. This is what it's like today in Connecticut. It's a lot browner and a lot... Yeah, well, actually, the brown trees are pretty accurate. What will be your next stream? That's an excellent question. Is there something you would like to see as an next stream? Like I said, I'm fine with X-Plane. I'm fine with Flight Sim. Yes, I'm taking off in the wrong direction, but I don't care because I'm just going to bring this plane anyway. You want to see helicopters. You want to see aeroliners. That's a new word. Aeroliners. Oh, almost ran on a runway. That would have been pretty embarrassing to see as I'm about to crash the plane. Oh yeah, it depends what you want to see. We're going to be seeing an Airbus A340 for Flight Sim. I'm so-so on that. I think X-Plane's version, even though it's the same company, is just going to be, I don't know, it's touchier, it's more picky. Like, I don't know, I kind of like it. But we'll see. And obviously, GA, I don't know what's coming down the pipe, but I would love to see some, like, kind of classic, like, 1954, like, Cessna 140s or something like that. 172s. I'm going to do some stuff with that. Watch this, watch this. Oh yeah, here we go. Whoa, 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 I'm upside down. Oh, we're going swimming. Terrain, pull up, terrain. Why did that not reset? It turns out Baron's secret weapon is inflatable emergency airbags. Makes it a little bit easier to land. All right, but with that, I can't believe I had damage turned off. That is embarrassing. So with that, of course, thanks everybody for joining us today. Like I said, it's always fun to do a stream. Love interacting with the community. It's always kind of fun to fly around.
these are cool planes. Hopefully throughout this you had a pretty good idea of which one interests you and which one maybe doesn't interest you. If I were you, and you're going to buy them, just buy the double pack. I know it's extra $20, but you get this really nice twins or you get the really nice singles. And there's enough variety. And there's also like RNAVs and some avionics stuff in here that you can really fiddle with and really, really get into. Keep me busy as a YouTuber for months kind of a thing. But other than that, that does not look natural. Enjoy and have a wonderful rest of the day. And I'll see you later.